become a chess assassin? Introduction. Something curious has occurred in how people think about chess. Chess has long been associated with intellectual virtuosity. The battles fought by chess masters past and present on the 64 squares are portrayed as prodigious battles between great minds. Indeed, there are few realms of human endeavour where a single match would be remembered, labelled and revered by future players as the immortal game. Anderson, Kietzeritsky, 1851. Regardless of its brilliance. There are no immortal games of checkers, there are no immortal games of tennis. I remember as a schoolboy in the 1980s that chess was spoken of as a shining example of human intellect and creativity. There was speculation whether a computer, a machine mind, could ever defeat the best human players. For sure, a machine could easily outperform a human in raw computation by many orders of magnitude, but this didn't seem enough against the endless possibilities on the chessboard. The creative spark of human ingenuity was often seen as beyond the reach of silicon and code. This all changed in 1997. Deep Blue, IBM's chess supercomputer, defeated Grandmaster Garry Kasparov, the then reigning world chess champion, a remarkable milestone. Kasparov is considered by many, including by the author of this book, to be the greatest chess player of all time. When we look back at this event with our modern sensibilities, it no longer seems especially surprising. However, the symbolic significance of Deep Blue's win and the impact it had on everyday conceptualization of chess has been enormous. Today, no one would question the notion that Stockfish, a software chess engine running on a smartphone, would defeat any human, including the world chess champion, all the time. Unfortunately, with the easy access to computation, what is best in chess has increasingly become equated with what is the most accurate chess, as determined by an engine. In essence, a reversal, where once chess computers were programmed to behave like the best human players, humans are now trying to emulate the computer. Now clearly, for people learning and improving to play at a competitive elite level, engine analysis is an indispensable tool. I'm not a Luddite and personally use engines to understand positions after a game. Stockfish 17 was used to enhance the analysis in this very book. However, we should take care to not mistake utility for purpose. We must not conflate accuracy for best. Machines have calculations, we have understanding. Machines have instructions, we have purpose. Machines have objectivity, we have passion. Grandmaster Garry Kasparov, 2017. What is best depends on context. It depends on purpose. We should ask ourselves, why do I play chess and what do I want to get out of it? Although winning is, of course, desirable, I would propose that most people who play chess for recreation, which is almost all people most of the time, do not do so principally for the purposes of winning. Instead, it is for intellectual stimulation and for enjoyment. It is for fun. It is for pleasure. By mistaking what is best with only what is accurate is analogous to claiming that the only valid form of visual art is photography, and dismissing all other forms of expression as inferior, unworthy, and even illegitimate. Sadly, it is distressingly common to see in chess social media and community discourse the attitude that the only legitimate way to play, learn, and enjoy chess is through accuracy, even for beginners playing casual games. Many young players and beginners ape this perspective uncritically and dogmatically. This cultural attitude within the chess community is not new and has lurked within its collective mind since chess moved into the modern era at the end of the 19th century. Almost a century ago, at the time of writing, Rudolf Spielmann, the last of the great Romantic style chess masters, admonished his peers on this very issue. In his treatise on systematizing sacrifices in chess, the experts like to disparage the habit of valuing a game according to the amount of material sacrificed. This is understandable to a certain extent, but nonetheless deplorable. The expert is too preoccupied with technique to be able to share the simple-hearted joy of the multitude. He watches the play not from the auditorium, but from the stage itself. Rudolf Spielmann, 1935, in The Art of Sacrifice in Chess. In my opinion, we must reject the puritanical and priggish view of chess. Chess has and always has been a form of art and human expression. In that vein, being a chess assassin is one of the most thrilling ways to play chess. There is something compelling in mercilessly defeating your opponent in the opening stages of a game, especially with a brilliant display of swashbuckling tactics. Playing a shocking sacrifice and subverting your opponent's expectations is exhilarating. At the same time, we of course cannot disregard opening principles. An assassin who trips over their own feet will not be very effective. So how does one become a chess assassin? We must explore and learn to play the best chess opening attacks. But what are the best chess opening attacks? There is no such thing as a universal list. What is best will depend on the purpose of the list and the context of the reader. So what do I mean by the best chess opening attacks in this book? I take the philosophical stance that the best chess opening attacks are not those that necessarily must be the most accurate, though they often are. Rather, these are opening lines that inspire and capture the imagination. They surprise us and delight us. They elicit emotions like awe and wonder, feelings that we might not have thought possible in an endeavour that at a prosaic level simply involves moving pieces on a square board. The best chess opening attacks are evocative, and the purpose? In taking you, dear reader, on a journey exploring these marvellous lines. My hope is that you'll see chess in a brilliant new light, and in doing so, that you'll be motivated to play more chess, especially creative and exciting chess. The best chess opening attacks should be beautiful, even at the expense of accuracy. Said Spielmann, on principle, we incline to rate a sacrificial game more highly than a positional game. Instinctively, we place the moral value above the scientific. The celebrated immortal game is not lauded because it is accurate. There were unsound moves by both players. Rather, it is a romantic masterpiece prized for its aesthetic qualities, with Adolf Anderssen winning through bold tactical play and glorious sacrifice of all his major pieces. Even now, when we revere great chess masters of eras past, a clear pattern emerges on who most inspires the present. Morphy or Capablanca, Tal or Botvinnik, Kasparov or Karpov. Despite the dismissive attitude in the collective mind of chess, the collective heart is nonetheless stirred by passion. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the Romantic style was de rigueur and played at the highest level of competition. Many of the historical masters from the era have left an indelible mark on chess. Steinitz, the first official world chess champion, Staunton, who has defined the contemporary design of chess pieces, Morphy, known for the legendary opera game, and of course Anderssen, the immortal. Romantic chess emphasises rapid tactical manoeuvres over longer-term strategic planning. For instance, playing opening gambits for advantage in development, and activity was common, as were the use of breathtaking sacrifices. Indeed, not accepting a gambit was potentially seen as a breach of etiquette and unsportsmanlike behaviour. The emergence and development of the modern approaches of positional chess was even initially criticised as tedious and cowardly. From the perspective of the Romanticist, it is not enough to simply win, but one must strive to win in style. The threads of emotion and sensibility are inextricably woven into the history of chess. The first book on chess is The Repetition of Love and the Art of Playing Chess with 150 Games by Luis Ramirez de Lucena. It was published over half a millennium ago in 1497. Love and art are entwined within the foundations of the game from the very beginning. Sometimes a game takes an unexpected turn in which beauty begins to emerge. I am convinced the way one plays chess always reflects the player's personality. For me, the art and chess are closely related. Both are forms in which the self finds beauty and expression. Grandmaster Vladimir Kramnik, 2015, in Art, Chess, Beauty and Depth. I believe that there is considerable value in emphasising and perhaps even reorienting casual recreational chess to be inclusive of romantic lines and thinking. As an approach, it promotes a style of chess that is enormously fun and nonetheless with rigour, principles and theory. My view is that much of the available basic chess learning resources, though very sound, become somewhat boring for the beginner recreational chess player looking for a little more spice. Scaffolding learning resources around the Italian game Gioco Piano lines is sensible for teaching opening principles, but it is literally the quiet game, and it is rarely exciting in the opening. I suspect that this leads many beginner players to experiment with opening gambits, but often furtively and with limited support other than the wild west of chess social media. Florence. But in the end, he needs a little bit more than me, more security. Svetlana, he needs his fantasy and freedom. The famous duet between Elaine Page and Barbara Dixon, I Know Him So Well, from Chess, the 1984 musical, captures well the duality in chess. The empirical evidence from the massive lead chess community database of billions of games would suggest that some classic romantic opening lines, such as the King's Gambit, 1e4, e5 to f4, remain very effective in recreational chess. This is even with little contemporary beginner-focused learning resources available, and practically no beginner intermediate players having studied it in depth compared to openings like the Italian game. In casual human versus human games, the King's Gambit works. My favourite opening, the Vienna game, that's 1e4, e5 to knight c3, is in a similar category. It is quite effective in recreational chess, it's fun to play, but the only beginner accessible learning material is by chess YouTube personalities, and even then, only at a shallow depth. This book is self-contained and harmonises with my first book, 50+2 Chess Quick Wins, Tactical Ideas for Exciting Chess for Beginner Players. In that book, I covered actual beginner intermediate games that end in a quick win, usually in the first 10 moves, and demonstrate and explain the common tactical themes and motifs that underlie those wins. Where that book approached games from a ground-up perspective, including the chaos from the real world of online chess, this book will focus on quick wins using beautiful exemplar lines. In keeping with the spirit of Romanticism, this book also explores the history and stories that surround these chess openings, especially the many weird and wonderful people who have played them. For a chess opening line to be included in this book as a best chess opening attack, criterion 1, it must be early. The winning position must be reached in the opening stages of the game, either in the opening or the early middle game. Why? There is simply something magical and overwhelming your opponent quickly, especially for a game that starts in an equal position. There are, of course, many examples of astounding middle game attacks and traps, and perhaps even more endgame brilliancies, all of which are beautiful. However, those are for other books. Criterion 2. The attack must be deadly. The result of the attack must result in an actual win, or a practical one. In deciding between many candidate lines and openings, I've prioritised opening attacks that result in checkmate, or where the opponent suffers the loss of a major piece, a rook, queen or more, with limited compensation. Any opening attack that only succeeds in winning tempo, position or material in the form of a pawn or a minor piece, a bishop or knight, will generally not be included, even if it is an excellent opening. Conceptually, we must be able to imagine that the opponent has suffered emotional damage due to the attack and believe that they have lost the game. You are not a chess assassin if your attack has only made the opponent feel uncomfortable. Criterion 3. The attack must be beautiful. One of the overarching concepts of this book is that we should bring back Romanticism into chess for beginners. My view is that learning to play trappy opening tactics is completely legitimate, especially for casual recreational players. As such, I've prioritised opening attacks that are fun, evocative and beautiful. Attacks that are unusual, multi-layered and where the result is surprising are especially prized. From that perspective, the opponent's moves must generally be intuitive or natural. Opening attacks that require the opponent to make unnatural mistakes won't be included. Who is this book for? Become a Chess Assassin can be enjoyed by everybody across all levels of chess proficiency, though it is perhaps most useful for recreational chess players at the beginner and intermediate levels. I have assumed, dear reader, that you are familiar with the basic rules of chess, including the names and appearances of the pieces, how they move, and the concepts of check, checkmate, and tactical ideas such as pins and forks. It will be helpful for readers to have some understanding of chess algebraic notation, but this is not a prerequisite, and I cover it briefly in the next few pages. Each opening will be described move by move at a modest level of detail and will include board diagrams as a visual guide to the narrative. Lovers of stories may find the short biographical monographs designed to place the chess into a historical context especially enjoyable. The people who have lived chess in days gone by have woven together the vibrant tapestry of our modern shared community of chess. This book hopes to share with you a glimpse of the many narratives of those who have played. This book is a celebration of the romantic style of chess. It is for people who love early aggressive attacks, who enjoy playing gambits, who are thrilled by daring piece sacrifices, or are curious to know more. And lastly, this book is for the fans of my YouTube channel and blog, Adventures of a Chess Noob. I give my heartfelt thanks to all the subscribers and the members of the channel for their ongoing support.